Hello and welcome to Between Friends. I'm Eileen Roche, co-founder of Dime and a longtime embroiderer. You're here because you love embroidery. And what is it about embroidery that turns many of us into die-hard embroidery fans? Why don't you give me your thoughts in the comments so I can, understand why you love embroidery? And while I'm waiting for you to do that, let's just say hello to some friends that have joined us. Angelina, nice to have you here. Laurel up in Minnesota. Hi, Chris Kavanaugh, another Minnesotan. And Laura Parks, always lovely to have you here. We are so excited to, just talk all about embroidery. It's what we always do. Hi, Retha, you're up there in windy Wyoming. And it has been a while since you've been here. So thanks for joining us again today. We have lots of, exciting things coming up this summer, so I think you'll want to stay tuned for sure. And Donna in North Idaho. Let's see, Reichert in Maryland. And Becky Bums, you are pretty much our neighbor. You're in North Texas, and so are we. So that's wonderful. And Carolyn Booth, you're down in sunny, hot Texas. Yeah, it's heating up down here. We've been spoiled. We had the nicest spring, I think, on record. Just lovely. But now, reality sets in. So let's see, Cookie Campbell, you love embroidery because it keeps your mind active and engaged. That's a great reason, because it's not only using all of your senses, right? Everything but taste, so it's really a healthy thing to participate in. Let's see. And Sylvia Reyes from Puerto Rico finally got to be here with us. Thank you for joining us today. Love everything you teach us. So thank you. That's very kind. We're blessed to be here for sure. And Deborah Morgan, you say you've always loved embroidery because the machine speeds up the process. Okay, that's a good reason for sure. That's a good reason. And Retha Ranke, you say you love the many gorgeous designs that are available in machine embroidery, and it makes you look like an artist. Well, that's an interesting comment because we do purchase embroidery designs, right, from people who really are artists. But it takes some artistic talent, Retha, to incorporate that into your project. So don't sell yourself short, for sure. You bring some talent to the task. Absolutely. And let's see. Sybil, you say it's fun, fulfilling, fun, and challenging. Yeah, and Cookie Campbell, always something to learn. That's right. And Cheryl, you love it because it's easy to customize. So true. So it is we can kind of take the shortcut by purchasing designs and yet then customize them to our needs or, if it's a gift for whoever you're giving it to. And well, here's a great reason, Kathy, because embroidery is beautiful. It most certainly is. It most certainly is, for sure. Okay, so let's see. Okay, just a hot, and let's see, Laura Parks, you say you love anything to do with sewing and you love the process of digitizing. Yeah, I do too. I like to digitize. My biggest fault when I digitize is I jump the gun too fast. I think the design is done and I stitch it out. And often it takes me several more versions to get it right. And we're going to take a look at some of that. So let's see. I asked you, what is it that turns many of us into die-hard embroidery fans? Well, it could be the texture and loft that you can achieve with thread, or it's the ability to add a splash of color to any fabric, or is it the tiny stitches that make up the greater whole? And for me, it's all those things. Absolutely. And Carolyn Booth, you say you love giving personal gifts and machine embroidery adds so much character and color to your projects for sure. I love that. Well, I've been in this field for almost 30 years, and I've come to love all different types of embroidery, whether it's applique, sketch designs. They are those open, airy designs that allow the fabric to show through some of the stitches. And, I think when I first started many years ago, the idea was that you had full coverage on an embroidery design, but then, taste and trends change, right? And people often like garments to be fluid and not change the hand of the fabric. So I think that's where sketch designs became so popular. And they also mimic hand drawing, which is just lovely. So And let's see, Retha Ranke, she says, also her son and daughter-in-law embroider, and it gives you one more way to bond with them. How cool is that, that you could do that as a family? You know, I've always called machine embroidery, and frankly, sewing for that part also, kind of a solitary sport. Many of us do it at home, all alone, by ourselves. Many of us don't have family members who participate in it. We may not even have friends who participate in it. We just love it individually. So if you can share it with a family member, oh, all the better, all the better. And it's one thing that has helped Between Friends grow here, because many of you are at home and you don't have anybody to share this passion with. So here we are doing it for you. Okay, let's see. Cynthia, you just finished your Queen of Diamonds on your Solaris Vision and use your large dime hoop. It's beautiful, and the hoop made it possible. Well, I'm not exactly sure what pattern that is, the Queen of Diamonds, but I can just envision that it's a beautiful quilt that's diamond blocks, and you probably quilted it and filled it with beautiful quilting stitches. So I love that for sure. And Marie Doyle, you say you're amazed at all the embroidery files and watching the machine work. Well, you know, it's true. When you go to, let's say, a trade show or the state fair, and if there's a sewing machine dealer there and exhibiting sewing and embroidery machines, it's that embroidery machine that's running in the booth that draws everybody in. We're all mesmerized by a running machine. It's a beautiful hum, and the stitches are laid down one by one. It's mesmerizing for sure. So you're not alone in that, Marie Doyle, for sure. Okay, so let's see. But my standards for what makes a beautiful design beautiful have changed over those years. So no longer am I willing to ignore applique edges that peek out from the satin edge. You know, in the beginning, I guess I was very forgiving, or maybe didn't even know. I didn't have enough knowledge to know that, oh, that should be a nice, clean, crisp edge, right? Or tiny open spaces between outlines and fills, or fills and satins, you know. Oh, so, and I've also learned through the years that a clean machine can have a direct effect on the quality of the embroidery. So not only have my standards changed, but so have I over the past 30 years. I used to have the vision of an eagle. Believe me, I could spot a skip stitch from about 6 feet away. Now, even with my glasses, I'm not so confident I'm seeing exactly what's there, right? And machines, well, I have a tendency to get lazy and just assume that the machine is clean. I sit down to do a new project and I kind of tell myself, oh yeah, you just cleaned that. Maybe not. So what can you do about all of that? Well, you can take a closer look at the embroidery, the applique, and the stitches. And I rely on one of our products, which is the Perfect Vision magnifying lamp that really helps me get a up close personal look and lights up the space, because it not only is a magnifying tool, but it also has a lamp that has 4 different levels. And in fact, I travel with it. Especially if I'm driving by car and I have room in my suitcase, I throw that in, because you know how hotel rooms are. The lighting in a hotel room is so poor, right? If you're trying to do any kind of work, it's hard to see. So that's what I do. Okay. And let's see, we're going to head over and take a closer look at some of this stuff. But before we do, Donna, you say it's so wonderful to take a plain shirt and put a design on it and makes it your own. It really is. It's just so satisfying. And then when you get a compliment, it's awesome. It really is. Okay, so let's see. And then Donna Smith. So you've been embroidering for 3 years and you're still learning at the young age of 77. I love that. And after your precious husband passed away, it sure fills the void. I'm happy to hear that you're filling your time with something that gives you pleasure and a sense of accomplishment. That's lovely to know. So thanks for sharing that, Donna. And we're sorry for your loss. Must be very difficult to say goodbye to your other half, right? And let's see, Cynthia, you use that magnifying lamp for your quilt as you do as in blah, 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 English paper piecing. Okay, I think it's Quilt As You Go, maybe. Let's see. Okay. Oh, and Betty Coley, you enjoyed Ains' class earlier this morning. Oh, I love hearing that. She's a great instructor. We have so many great instructors. Okay, let's go over and take a look at that magnifying lamp. This is our Perfect Vision magnifying lamp. And here you can see I have a patch here that we're going to take a really closer look underneath this lamp later on. But I just want to show you what's in the box when you open it up. So you're going to pull it out of the box, right? And it's going to have some plastic wrapping. And you'll untie the twist tie that's securing the wire together. And then you'll just kind of take a minute to open that up. But look how nice and long that is. Oh my, it is. Do I have it all on the camera here? My goodness, it's great. Let me just take a minute to adjust my monitor so I can see where I'm going. Okay, maybe just a little bit more. There we go. And yeah, so look, it's, I think it's 28 inches, but I couldn't swear on it. So let me just confirm that. 26 inches is the gooseneck. And then that clamp, it is, has a really wide mouth. Okay, let's call it a mouth, this part here. And when we open that up, it's going to open up to 1.5 inches, I believe. As you can see, that's a nice opening. And it has pads on the interior right in here, so it won't harm the surface that you put it on. And even this fabric that is wrapped around the kind of rough edge of the clamp, that's so that it doesn't harm the table that you attach it to. It's just fantastic. And okay, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. Well, I don't really need to plug this one in because I can plug the one in that's right here, just so you can see. So we have different levels of intensity, right? So that's our lowest, and then we can go higher and higher. What am I doing here? Here we go. There we go. Isn't that awesome? So I was at the highest, and now it's kind of going down. So 3 different levels, and also it's changing color intensity. So you have a plus and minus. Let me show you that. You have, here is your control panel. You have off and on, minus and plus, and then this toggles through all the different settings. So you have lots of options there. So that's what happens when you open the box. But now, why don't we go over and take a look at it, at what I use it for. So let me pull over my, I think I have one right here, skewer. So over here on this camera, you'll see we have a patch. Remember I was telling you my digitizing, right? I get a little lax. I get super confident. I look at the design on the screen and I think, oh, that's great. But look at the gaps here and here. And frankly, just around these are supposed to be stitches, right? These white horizontal bars and that go around in a circle. But you can see down here, their fill is not behind it. It's a hole in the fill with the satin that's supposed to sit inside. Poor digitizing. Now, my artwork that I started with was our logo. And it's, of course, drawn for print. So that's how you would draw it for print. You would most certainly have a hole in the green so that the white ink could be applied in that fashion. But for embroidery, we actually want this whole field of green to be one solid mass so that you get something that looks a lot better. Now look at that difference. Now, I probably didn't really see that. If we were to over on the other camera, let's flip over to that overhead camera and I can put that back in the scene. So that's the view that you would get, that I would get, right? Without the benefit of the magnifying lamp. Doesn't look that terrible from that distance, right? But up close, oh, I can see that it really had a lot of flaws. It most certainly did. So of course I went back to the digitizing board, which is software, of course, and I just redrew this whole shape instead of going to the trouble of pulling out the holes and so forth. I just redrew that green shape And I also redrew the blue so that all of those white satins would stitch right on top. And I'm really happy with that design. I think that's fantastic. Now, what else is it great for? Well, applique, right? I told you, my standards have kind of escalated. So I want to show you an applique design here that has a flaw. Let's see. Am I getting the right one in camera? Just bear with me a minute so I can see. Okay, right here. See that? Look at that. Blech. Hate that. Are you as fussy as I am? Don't you hate that? And why is it? Well, because I didn't trim it properly. I didn't trim it close enough. And, so that's really disappointing. And it's after the fact. There's not much I can do about it. I could maybe try to trim that, but I know it already has fusible web on it and I've already ironed it, so I'm probably not going to be able to lift that off. So that's an issue. But if I had used my lamp during the trimming process, if I took the time to trim underneath that lamp, well, I could have gotten a whole lot closer. So we'll just kind of do that right now. I'll start over here. And, when I trim applique, I always like to lift that applique up and get my scissors right against that run stitch, right against that tack down. See how nice and close I'm getting? And yet I'm not snipping into the threads. And, sometimes I have to go in the other direction, right? So now I'll lift up from this side. And again, I'm putting that blade, this blade, I'm snugging right up to the edge of the lifted fabric so that as I trim, I just travel around. Look how nice and clean that is. Oh boy, that's going to finish out just beautifully. Just beautifully, without even going around again. Oh, I love that. I'm really happy with that. So that's a great use for the magnifying lamp. Now, truth be told, I'm expanding my hobby into hand embroidery. And so like I said, when I go on the road, I take that lamp with me, and that's so I can play with a beautiful design like this. Now, when I look at this from afar, all of my stitches look perfect, but I'm learning. So they're not perfect, believe me. Like I've had to learn how to do these leaves, and this is in progress. It's not complete. I still have the vines to do and so forth. And this is my first attempt at Lazy Daisy. And if you look closely, there's too much space between those base entry and exit points of my little, floss. But I'm learning. I don't care. It's all right. It's just a process. It's an enjoyable process, but it's a mobile thing that I can do. And that makes it fun. I'm learning how to do French knots. And so, the magnifying lamp is quite helpful, but so is the light. And, some of these areas are big, so I may not need the magnifier, but I love that extra lamp because it really illuminates my workspace, right? Okay, let's see. Oh, Valerie Brown. Listen to what Valerie says. She says before she got this light, she struggled with black thread on black fabric. It's the truth. That black on black is almost impossible to see, but that light, and because it's so bright, you'll get a reflection off of our exquisite polyester thread because it's shiny, and that usually separates the black embroidery thread from the black fabric. So I'm really glad that you brought that up because I wanted to make a sample of black on black for today's show, but I didn't get to it. So forgive me. And actually, it's kind of hard to get all that, the cameras, blah, blah, blah. So, but I think you know what I mean. Black on black, we all struggle with that. And let's see, and Donna Marie, you use it for many things, even sewing, regular sewing, and even when you're reading. Sure, we all need that. And Sybil, this is on your to get list. Good idea, and it's on special today, so I hope that you take advantage of it. And Reen Wilcoxon, our good friend at Embroidery Garden, she says that it does hold on to the table very nicely. I'm going to show you another use that I have for it. My multi-needle machine at home is a 10 needle, and the needle threader has been broken for a very long time. And, that's a machine. It's in my upstairs bedroom and so forth. And, so I just live with it. But let me show you how I use that lamp to thread the needle. Look at that. I mean, there's holes in those needles. I mean, I can't see those holes with my glasses on, I'm telling you. But with that little lamp, and it clamps to my table, my extension table that's attached to my multi-needle machine. And I just clamp that on there, flip that light on, and, because that area of the machine, it's kind of the most important part, right? That needles are what hit the thread, hit the fabric. And it's really hard to see in there because it's kind of dark. Now I'm threading a white thread onto that needle, and the machine's a white background. So that's as hard to see as the black on black. I love that. Oh, so handy. Look how fast. That's fantastic. Let's see. I just want to make sure we're not... Linda Johnston says she might have to buy 2 lamps. Oh, well, if you come into my house... Yeah, I have more than 2. No, I guess I have 2. And I have one on the multi-needle, and then I have one on near my luminaire because I often sew on that and also embroider on it for sure. And Retha, you say your 71-and-a-half-year-old eyes need all the light you can get. Well, yeah, true. We'll all second that. Believe me, we'll all second that. Okay, so we also have a video of using it to clean a machine. So this is... yeah, and Sandra Martinez, you say, wow, I thread all those needles by hand. I do thread all those needles by hand. Then maybe I should, go to the trouble of taking it to the dealer and getting it fixed. But, you get it with that lamp, it's pretty fast. Not so horrible. Okay, so let's take a look. So here's a very dirty machine. So I use it to... First off, light up that space because you have to turn off the machine when you're cleaning the machine. So now you don't have any light there. And I use tweezers to pull out most of the debris, like the large, felt kind of pads is what we call them, right? But the real heavy lint area. And then I get tweezers to get in there and really pull out any threads that are lodged around the bobbin case. And I like to use a pipe cleaner, and I put just a dab of oil on the end. Well, I fold my pipe cleaner so that I don't have a sharp edge, right? Because the end of a pipe cleaner is wire and it's going to be sharp. So I most certainly make sure that I fold over that pipe cleaner and have a soft edge, a soft point that I can use to clean out the bobbin case. I don't want to scratch my bobbin area in any shape or form. And then I also open up that pipe cleaner and I use it to clean between the feed dogs because often you get debris in there and you don't even think about it. And so this is just kind of a backed up view so you can see how we're using that lamp to clean, and it's just awesome. And then of course, the last thing I do is vacuum the mess that I made and make sure that I'm vacuuming right into the bobbin area. And I guess I could do that first, but I don't know, I do it last because I like to make sure, what I'm pulling out is what I really want to throw away. And then lastly, take that pipe cleaner and clean the bobbin case, okay? All sides of it, all the little nooks and crannies in there. You want to use that pipe cleaner to clean the interior, the wrong side, and some of those beveled edges. And then lastly, just slip on your plate and you're ready to stitch. So fun, right? Let's see. And Patricia, you used a lighted magnifying lens to look at small details in photos that come with the instructions on your embroidery designs. Well, that's a great use for it because like in our software, in all of our software, when you print out the color sequence, it gives you the name of the color, the number of the color, how many stitches, and then it gives you a tiny little thumbnail of the area of the design that is going to stitch in that color. And it is really tiny. It is really tiny. So I would imagine that's a great use for that for sure. And Sylvia, do we sell the vacuum? We don't sell the vacuum. It's something I bought on Amazon. So, but good to have one in your sewing room. Really handy. Also works great in your car and so forth. So we have one here in the office. I have one here one at home, and it's just wonderful. I use it all the time. So let's see. Okay, what else do we have in store? Well, next week we're going to do metallic thread. So on the 22nd, I'll be back with that. But on the 20th, you're going to find Ashley Jones here on Tuesday, and she'll be doing software success. If you use our software, you do not want to miss any of Ashley's software success programs, because she takes a deep dive into one of the programs. They're different all the time. And watch for the promo. She'll tell you what's coming up. And it's just awesome. We all learn from Ashley all the time. And like I said, I'm going to be back on the 22nd. We're going to talk all about metallic thread. But in the meantime, we really would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, so we can see what, so you can see what we have coming up. And also that tells us you like the educational content that we're providing. So I hope that you will continue to do that. And let's see, when you share your projects on social media using the hashtag of Dime Sew Along on the House or Exquisite Thread, we can find them, and then we share them here with you. So let's take a look at what you've been stitching. Well, look at here. Mickey Smith is telling me, she's correcting me, that Ashley isn't going to be on the 20th. She's not. So forgive me. I am mistaken. And you're right. We have a team meeting in Oklahoma. So we're skipping that week. She'll be back on June 3rd, the first week of January, that first Tuesday. So you can catch her then. Thanks for telling me that. Appreciate that for sure. And let's see, Catherine Kershaw, you gave your lamp, or your son uses it for fly tying. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Oh, I love that. That's just great. So we are about to show you on the house, and this is where you find it today, right? On our DZGNS website. And if you go to embroidery and scroll down, click on free designs, and you'll find the design there. But as I have told you before, that, we've made some big changes here at Dime, right? And we were purchased by OESD on January 31st. So in those past few months, I've learned so much about OESD, and I've been so impressed with their team. Boy, do they have talent. And as I'm getting to know each of their team members and their skills, I'm envisioning who is capable of handling some of the tasks that I've been juggling over the years. And, as a small business owner, I have worn so many hats here at Dime, and I haven't worn all of them well. So I'm delighted to know that there's new talent, strong talent, that is going to be taking over at Dime. And in fact, it just made perfect sense for me to hand over the On the House program to OESD's top-notch artists and designers. I mean, they've been in the design business for several decades, and they are excellent at it. So you are going to be delighted with the free designs that you'll be receiving in the future. Oh, and some things may change, like where you'll find them and when. But all in all, I really want you to trust that you're going to continue to receive beautiful free designs occasionally from your friends at Dime and OESD. And I'll have more information on that in an upcoming episode of Between Friends. In fact, we have kind of a great plan for the summer that's going to celebrate some of the past and embrace a lot of the future, because it's really exciting what's going on here at Dime. So for now, today, you're going to enjoy this free design, which is just a two-color design, and it stitches out beautifully in a 4x4 hoop. So I hope that you'll go jump over to our website and take advantage of it. Now, if you've been maybe negligent in downloading the on the house designs, I would encourage you to do that now. They're all still there from January 1 all the way till today, May 15th, and they're going to stay there for quite a while, but not forever. So take advantage of this great offer, these free designs that are available to you, and download them today. So I hope that you'll do that. And in the meantime, please take advantage of today's special, which is the Perfect Vision magnifying lamp, and it's on special for $49.99. You won't regret this purchase. I can tell you, it's so handy. You might need two. My husband's always borrowing one of mine, and I'm always taking one on the road with me. Maybe you'll find new uses for it yourself. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to being with you again next week. So long.